These are scenes from a protest outside the Prime Minister's office for the release of Corporal Gilad Shalit, an Israeli soldier held captive by Hamas in the Gaza Strip for nearly 1,000 days. With a more hardline government poised to take over in Israel, the Shalit family and their supporters are ratcheting up pressure on the current Israeli government, led by Ehud Olmert, to secure Gilad's release before his term ends. In a secure area closer to Olmert's office, Shalit's brother, father, and mother waited anxiously for news from a special cabinet meeting that would decide Gilad's fate. Meanwhile, Gilad's father, Noam, relayed a message for Hamas, which he delivered through the Arabic media.
I would recommend the Hamas to now to hurry up and cut a deal now before the new government will be formed, because you won't get a better deal with the new government.
On his way out of office, Prime Minister Olmert is faced with a moral, political, and security dilemma, all wrapped into one. Hamas is asking for the release of hundreds of operatives, some of whom were commanders who engineered suicide attacks against Israelis. The question facing Olmert is how many prisoners and what kind of prisoners is he willing to free in order to free one of his own.
This is something that really tells us what's our values as a nation. That if we send someone to fight for us, we need to fight for him and bring him back.
I want to make sure that my little brother and everyone's little brothers that goes to the army knows that no matter what happens, that we're going to do everything we can to make sure they come back.
Palestinians, I will release all of them, if it depends on me.
For many Israelis, it is not so black and white.
6 years and 10 days ago, Yuval was on a bus taking him from school to home. Yuval was talking to me on the phone. I told him a joke. He laughed and said, "Daddy, I love you." In that moment, the mass murderer operated the trigger of the suicide belt.
This man, Yossi Mendelevich, who lost his 13-year-old son in a Hamas attack, is part of an organization of bereaved family members who are opposed to prisoner exchanges.
These people have been moved out from the society because they've committed crime. So are we going to collapse to bring down the justice system? For what reason?
If I would to be, kidnapped, I expect my government to do everything it can to release me. But if the price is hundreds of murderous terrorists coming out and coming back to the terrorist cycle, I ask that my government doesn't do it.
My brother was killed by the Hamas, my brother. And I give the permission to let him go in order to get Gilad.
Even though he lost a brother to Hamas, Yuval Roth is supporting the Shalit family's demand that Gilad be released, no matter what the price.
If we don't do it, we won't see him again. There is no price for one people. There is no price. So if it means 1,000 people, 1,000 people. Okay.
In order to keep the pressure on the Olmert government and keep their son in the limelight, the Shalit family are now sleeping in a tent next to the Prime Minister's residence. The latest round of negotiations appear to have failed because Hamas wanted 450 prisoners released and Israel only approved of 325. But the only number that matters to the Shalit family is this one, the number of days since they last heard from their son.
I'm sure that the waves that came out from this reached the decision makers in Israel, you know what I mean.
Are you optimistic?
No, unfortunately not. Hello? Ken? Me?